Hello and welcome to the first USN broadcasting video of the season. This is the USN cross-country time trial. The runners have just started. Henry, welcome to the first broadcast.
Yeah, really excited to be here. The time trial, it's always a good way for the runners to set the pace and, prove themselves and to see what they can do the rest of the season.
Yeah, so this is the first angle and we're about to switch to the Gator cam.
Yeah, Andrew was on the back of that Gator. How was that, Andrew?
It was a little bumpy. Tried to cut some of the bumpy parts out, so apologize in advance if the bumpy parts are still in there. But it was a great, viewing experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal right now. Here we're just, showing the whole race. In this time trial, there's USN runners and BGA runners. And, as you can see right now, the BGA runners in first right now. Spoiler alert, he does not finish first.
Running this beautiful course out on the USN River campus, I believe, mapped out by Mr. Royer and Mr. Flato. So.
Yeah, and it's a 2-mile race. The 1-mile marker is at the same point as the starting, except it's not 2 laps. So you kind of go around the sod fields a little bit, and then you loop back around, go around the lacrosse field, past the soccer field, around the batting cages for the baseball field, and then onto the track for 300 meters on the track. So this is, right by the beautiful Cumberland River.
Yeah, it had to be a nice view for the runners.
Yes, and, they might be smelling the sewage refinement plant right now, but, it's just motivation to run faster.
Yeah.
Get away from the stink.
We always used to joke that was probably USN's best form of home field advantage because we're used to it from practicing there every day, but
Yes.
some of the opposing teams might not be as accustomed to it.
Yes, that and the tall grass. I'm sure that helps our runners. At races with short grass.
Yeah,
If you can run in long grass, you can run in short grass.
that's for sure.
So here, we're about half a mile in right now. What do you think's going through their heads? And we can kind of see the spread of all the runners. There's this main group of 4. That's Drew Zorner, Jack Froome, Griffin Davidson, and Caleb Fryfield, I believe.
Yeah, I believe
So that's USN's main 4 guys. And then behind them we have the Little twins. So how do you think our guys are pushing each other?
Yeah, I think running is almost entirely a mental game. Not entirely, maybe 70-30 mental to physical. You really just gotta keep your pace and not let the opponents kind of get in your head and tell you what to do. You really wanna dictate, not react. That's what I'd say.
Yes, they're turning the corner here right now. It's still this main group of 4. We might get another shot of see how close the next person is, and you can see. Henry, do you know which twin it is?
I'm not quite sure.
I'm not either. And then
Rocking the different uniform though.
Yes. So we got 5 USN runners, then the first BGA runner, and then you can just see the pack. That's the main group right there. Coming in at about 3:30 right now for this, say, 2/3 of a mile.
That's the turnaround down at the end of the field down by the bridge.
Yes. So these guys are, coming right into the 1-mile stretch. You just saw Drew Zorner look at his watch there, checking the time. Now we're gonna go be joined by Coach Flato, who might have some, thoughts about the season or thoughts on the runner's mindset going into this point in the race. Now I'm joined by Coach Flato. Coach Flato, how are you doing today?
Doing great.
So Henry and I were talking about, we were wondering the mindset of the runners as they're going through this. It's super hot. I think it feels like it's around 94, even at 7:30. What are they feeling right now?
Well, if they're about a half mile into the race, they're probably feeling like the race is actually a lot more real than it was a minute or 2 ago. You sort of get a minute or 2 pretty free. If you're fairly fit, you don't really feel the discomfort as much. And then by this point in the race, it's kind of set in that you're in for something that's getting increasingly more difficult. And that's part of what makes great runners great, is that they kind of accept that that's the circumstance and you sort of dig in.
Yeah, and they're just about on the halfway point, 1 mile in. I think Drew Warner ran a 5:10 split here. He was kind of the leader of the pack all race, but really at the end he kind of took off. Did you know that was going to happen, or was it really any of the four?
Yeah, it was really any of the four. I mean, they've all been training well. I think certainly Drew probably has a track record of being one of our faster guys and had a nice, smooth summer of training. Griffin is still kind of new to the sport in many ways, and obviously is splitting time with soccer. Jack had just shut it down for a week or two after a summer track season, so he's coming back to fitness. And Caleb had sort of a long injury that he was coming off a track with. So, yeah, I think if I'd had to pick a favorite, I would have picked Drew, but I knew that these four guys would probably work together.
Yeah. Drew running a 10:25. How do you see that time improving? And what kind of projection is that? Because I believe you guys raced the 5K for state tournament. So how does a 2-minute or a 10-minute 2 mile? How does that translate to a 5K, which is 3.1 miles?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a kind of like some people might call a rust buster. I think he's certainly capable of going, that pace, but for 5K, if not soon, pretty soon in the season. I'm not too worried about the time. As flat as the course is, the footing is pretty soft, and so it tends to make for fairly slow-ish times given how flat the course is, and certainly with the heat. So we're not as worried about the time as just are these guys working together? Are they willing to compete? Are they willing to kind of fight when it gets hard? And we saw all those signs from those guys. So I think you're going to see those four, near the front of an awful lot of races this season.
Are you shocked at all that Drew was the leader the whole time and ended up winning? With the wind resistance, how much does that play into effect?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, in a pack of just four guys like that, it's not like you can really tuck in and benefit from drafting from the air that much. Certainly there's an aspect of you don't have to do the work, so mentally it's a little bit easier if you just tuck in behind somebody. But I don't know that he would have said, yeah, I was really running into a giant headwind, and that made it a lot harder.
Yeah, and this right now we're just showing the footage so people at home can see the gap between Drew and the for our USN first four and the next runners. The little twins, they're coming up 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they'll impact the season?
I mean, in many ways, they're kind of the key to the season. It's a luxury to have four super fast guys up at the front, but what really determines success in a lot of ways is kind of where are your 4, 5, 6 runners. And so Caleb and James, they're doing really well for this time of the year, certainly compared to last year. The closer they can get to that front four, the better it's going to be for our team. So, yeah, we need to kind of develop the depth behind that front four that's going to really make or break our success.
And any predictions on the future of the season?
Now we're just going to keep training and do what we do, and I think it's going to be a success.
Now I'm joined by Paulo Saud and Ebi Asfa. How are you guys feeling at this point in the race? You're about a mile and a half in. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Usually this isn't by the end of the race in a normal 5K, but in this instance, yes, it was by the end. So I was pretty tired. I was pushing it. Even though my time was slow, I felt pretty tired, pretty flexible, and pretty loose.
Yeah, Ebi, how are you feeling?
So during the race, towards the second part, I had side stitches, so I was kind of on and off. But I had to push through kicks. So towards that latter part towards the race, I kind of felt a little bit better. I was getting the groove of it. So I felt pretty good overall.
Yeah, and there you can see Paulo and then Ebi here a little bit after.
Yeah.
Now I'm joined by Drew Warner and Jack Fruin. Drew, you're 300 meters left. What are you thinking right now? Are you pushing the pace?
Yeah, I'm just thinking kick hard. I have 300 left, give it all I got,
Yeah, Jack, what happened? You were really close to Drew for, the majority of the race. I heard you might have puked during the race.
Yeah, my tummy was hurting.
You heard it here from Jack. His tummy was hurting. Drew, you ran a 10:25. How do you feel about that time? You feel good, or?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I think I paced it well, and I think it's a good place to start out in this season. And, yeah, team's looking good.
No match for Eli Wharton, though.
That was a great interview with Paulo Saud, Ebi Asfa, Drew Warner, and Jack Fruin. And as you can see right now, Drew Warner is coming up on the finish line. He ultimately will have ran a 10:25. You know, he's just coming up right now.
Yeah, really impressive time by Drew. Really, we're going to look to him to be the leader of this team this year.
And our third broadcaster for this segment is Jamin Pistachia. Jamin, what do you see in this race?
I think Drew has shown that he's ready for the big stage, and him being like the lead runner is very important for this cross country team and will lead to a lot of success this season.
And that's Griffin coming in 7 seconds after him. And who is that in third, Henry? Could you see?
That was Fryfield?
I believe so. He was also 8 seconds behind him. Fruin coming in just at the 10:45 mark. I believe he had some stomach problems earlier in the race.
Yeah, I can't really blame him, you know. It can be a very physically demanding sport.
Yes, certainly one I wouldn't want to race.
There's Ian Zorner, a former USN student.
Yeah, getting a nice shot of him. And actually, Drew Warner's brother, you know, older brother. Yet he is older, but he is slower. So.
Dang. But, you know, he taught him a lot mentally, and that's what's important.
And now we have the Little twins coming in just about 1 minute after the leader, coming in 11:25. Jim, how do you think are they sophomores now?
Yeah, so they're sophomores now, and I have had the pleasure of playing soccer with both of them and know that they're both very fast and very smart with their agility and stamina as well. So I think that they have a lot of great potential to be able to be great cross-country runners as well as soccer players.
So, Jim, I got a question.
Yes.
Do they run cross-country to stay in – sorry, and that's the first BGA guy coming in 1 minute and 30 seconds after. And then, so Jim, as I was saying, do they run cross-country to get, like, in better shape for soccer, or do they play soccer as well?
I think both of them go hand in hand. I think they both have a passion for both sports. But I think Caleb seems to be more soccer-oriented. But James is still developing as well as a soccer player. Both of them having very important roles. Caleb starting a bunch of games this season for us, and James really helping us on the JV side as well.
You just saw a man in a white shirt and no shoes. That is Dean Stevenson. He did not run the full race. He just started at the mile marker.
It's like the Boston Marathon.
There's Braun Moore coming in 2 minutes and 15 seconds after the leaders. Now we have a larger pack of BGA runners. And, you know, this kind of shows, here we have another view of the track as the athletes are closing in. I believe this is that Evie? Evie and Marcelo.
There's Rocco.
That Rocco, for anybody listening at home, is Paula Saud's dog.
Very cute dog.
Yes. Now we're probably going to end the broadcast here, you know, just
Really beautiful night at the River campus. See that beautiful sunset. Just what a lovely space we have.
yes. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you during the next broadcast. Thank you.